Hello everybody, this is Coding with Ado, and today we are gonna connect with weather.gov. You are wondering why weather.gov and not whether the weather channel or weather APIs. Basically, weather.gov is free. All the weather forecast information is actually free. But all these other companies they try to charge you for better SLA or things on top of the weather information, which we're gonna touch in another of these videos. So let's get started. Let's first of all, well, as always, let's create the npm package. So npm init minus y, perfect. We have now the package. Now let's create the index.js and let's create our function. So it's going to be an asynchronous function as always because we are creating APIs here. Async function, let's say get current weather. And let's send here the location. Okay. Let's create the promise that will resolve the async function. Get current weather. Here the location. Then, as always, body console log body. Okay, let's create the location. We'll see what to do next later, and let's get started. Get weather from location. Always remember in your functions, and this is like a good tooltip, always remember to add information about what the function does. Okay, so what are we gonna do here? The interesting thing is, remember, this is free, so all these functions that we're gonna use, it's gonna be without any keys, so we don't need the .env file here. So we are gonna create the first URL that is gonna be the raw query URL for weather.gov. So it's api.weather.gov. Okay, and we're gonna send the points. Why? And this is where nice API is better than weather.gov is that you need to send here the lat and longitude. A difference on weather channel that you can send directly the country or the city or the state, etc. Okay, so in here we actually need the latitude and longitude. Okay, we'll look at that later. After that, we're gonna do the try catch as always. Okay, if anything goes wrong, we have the error. Perfect. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna fetch this grid. So how does API weather.gov works? Let's go directly first to there. So if we go to the weather service web API, you'll see that the forecast, they give the forecast for us in a square of 2.5 to 2.5 kilometers. And to have that grid, we have to get this information. Okay, we need to have the office, which is leading that information, the grid X with grid Y, and then request the forecast. But of course, we don't have that. So we first need to get the grid information from this API. Okay, so that's why we need the latitude and longitude. Okay, so let's go to Google Maps. We have here San Diego. Let's take these coordinates. Okay, so for iris.alpine, Alpine in San Diego. Okay, so let's go back to our code and let's add that information here to the location. And in here, we will send the location. Okay, so we have the location, perfect. Now we need to fetch that information. So let's fetch first the grid. So the grid fetch is gonna be a await fetch of the URL. This will give us the grid fetch in a JSON, so we have to transform the fetch JSON to a JSON data. So it's grid fetch dot JSON, and remember this is also an await. Okay, I love having awaits rather than thens, so yeah, you'll see me always doing that. It's cleaner for me. And then let's do, so now that we have the grid, we need to get the forecast URL. So let's actually first return this. Okay, let's return the grid data and see what's going on. Okay, so node index, and you see here that we already have in properties, we have the forecast. You can have the hourly, you can have, whatever you want here, the grid data, but I like to have the forecast directly. Let's do this easy. So we have fire, weather, sun, we have everything here. Okay, so let's have the forecast. Okay, so forecast is inside the properties, so we do dot properties dot forecast. Okay, let's run that again, and we have the URL for the forecast. So now what we have to do is we have to do a second fetch. Okay, so it's gonna do const forecast equals to await fetch and that URL. Then we need to do the same thing as above, const forecast data equals to await forecast.json. Okay, and then let's first return the forecast data to see how the information looks like. Let's clear this out, and we have all this. Perfect. So let's do properties.periods. Let's see what's going on there. Properties.periods. And perfect, we have all the periods for, you can see here, overnight, Wednesday, Wednesday night, Thursday, Thursday night. So basically, the weather department, what it does, it gets some recordings at 3 a.m. and at 7 a.m. So it's 3 a.m., 7 a.m., and then I think it's 5 p.m. and then 6 a.m. and something like that. So it's like 2 or 3 measurements per day. So basically, you can grab, for example, the first one, which is the information from now up until the next one. So basically, the number 0 of this array is going to be the current temperature. Okay, so let's just return that. Let's return the number 0, and you will see this information. Okay, so this is information from the current weather for San Diego department. They are in Alpine. You have Apache Falls before 5 a.m. If someone is from San Diego, you can check that out. You have the temperature. You have everything here. You have the temperature on centigrade, on Celsius, humidity, etc. So you have everything here. So yeah, and we did it without any keys, not paying anything, completely free. So feel free to use it. Let's stop giving the money to the other APIs and have fun. And see you guys on the next video. Bye bye.